Dragon Ball Z Budokai is a new fighting game from Infogrames and Japanese developer Dimps, based on the incredibly popular animated series Dragon Ball Z. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, has actually enjoyed a little bit of success in the arena of video games previously as the character designer for big games like Enix's Dragon Warrior series and Squaresoft's Chrono Trigger. But most Dragon Ball Z games have generally been kind of lousy. They've been, pretty bad cash-ins, just kind of pimping out the license. Dragon Ball Z Budokai is by no means the best or the deepest fighting game out there. There's really, a lot of good competition out there in the market for fighting games with the Virtua Fighters and the Tekkens. It's not really competition for that. But as a Dragon Ball Z game, as an exercise in the license, it's really quite spectacular. It does an excellent job of using the license. It pretty much captures the essence of what the game is about in a really exciting and fun way. Unless you're already, entrenched in the Dragon Ball Z lore, it's not going to make that much of a difference. All you really need to know is that there hasn't been another cartoon ever before that needed to be turned into a fighting game like Dragon Ball Z. Most fighting games, the single player game is just pretty much like the multiplayer game. It's just a series of fights, and then when it's over, it's over. Dragon Ball Z actually makes use of the story from the cartoon and from the comic book, and has you play through it as several of the different main characters. It actually starts out at the beginning of the Dragon Ball Z series with the Saiyan Saga, where you'll fight against Raditz and Nappa, and eventually against Vegeta. Then it goes into the Namekian Saga, where you're dealing with Frieza and going to Planet Namek and all of that. And then it jumps to the Android Saga, where you'll fight against androids at 17, 18, and eventually Cell. And the whole game, at least the story mode, culminates in the Cell games. It took years and years for these to play out in the cartoon series, but in the story mode, in the single-player story mode in the game, it can pretty much be done in a couple hours' time. The developers have cut out a lot of the extraneous stuff and do make quite a few assumptions about what the player is going to know about the Dragon Ball Z series going in. So if you don't already know about the series and pretty much understand what's going to happen and who the different characters are, it might seem a little disjointed at times. You might be a little bit confused here and there. But if you do like the series and you do know what's going on, it's a lot of fun to see it playing out again in full 3D. All said, with all the unlockable stuff, there's a whole lot in this game. Total, there's 23 different playable characters, 9 different arenas, and it's just, fans are going to love it because all the different characters from the 3 sagas represented in the game, all the major characters are there, all the big players are there. The fighting system in Dragon Ball Z Budokai is probably the weakest link in the whole setup. It's really simplistic. It's kind of like Virtua Fighter. It's like a stripped-out Virtua Fighter with a single punch button, single kick button, there's a guard button, and a key attack button, which basically allows you to shoot a simple energy-based attack. Now you can use combinations of the punch, kick, guard, and key attack buttons to perform different grapples and special moves. But the catalog of moves that you have are pretty limited. So even if you only have a passing interest in a fighting game and you've only played a couple of them, it's not going to take you a really long time to just completely master the gameplay here. The presentation in Dragon Ball Z Budokai is great. From a technical standpoint, everything looks sharp and clean. And from an artistic standpoint, it does an amazing job of rendering, of just fully realizing the Dragon Ball Z universe in 3D. All the characters look like their traditionally animated counterparts, and it's spotless as far as that's concerned. The animation is generally pretty good for the different characters, although a lot of like the basic sort of punch and kick and the common combo stuff gets carried over from character to character. The special moves generally look pretty good, although oddly they're a little bit subdued, which if you consider the sort of outrageous, over-the-top nature of the Dragon Ball Z series, you might expect the particle effects and lighting effects to be a little bit more severe. But even as it stands, it's a really good-looking game, and it just does a phenomenal job of bringing across the feel of Dragon Ball Z. The sound in Dragon Ball Z Budokai is also really good. All of the voice acting is provided by the actors who do the voices for the U.S. cartoon characters, at least most of them, and it all sounds really good. And oddly, this does a really good job of sort of tying the whole experience together. In all the cutscenes, everyone pretty much has the same dialogue as they had in the show, and it's almost kind of eerie how it does a really excellent job of recreating a lot of the famous scenes from throughout the series. In closing, Dragon Ball Z Budokai is it's not really a super compelling fighting game. Judged as just a fighting game, it's not that great. Most players would probably be better off going to a more established and deeper series, but that's really not what Dragon Ball Z Budokai is about. You can tell just by the way the game is made, with so much detail and attention paid to small stuff that only fans of the series would appreciate, that you can totally tell that Dimps had the fans in mind when they were making it. And by that regard, fans are going to love it. Fans are going to have a lot of fun with it, sort of reliving these different parts of the series again in this fighting game sort of experience. Basically, aside from reading the comic books or watching the cartoon show, there is no other Dragon Ball Z experience that is as good as Dragon Ball Z Budokai.